Hi guys, I hope you're all doing very well. Before the video, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Match Bingo. Now, after the Brentford game, I said if you want some hope, go and play Match Bingo because you're not going to see it on the pitch. But today, we actually saw something, 3 points, so that's positive. Really interested to see... Can we start again? Sorry. I never have to do 2 takes. Right. Hi guys, welcome to the video. Before we start, I just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, Match Bingo. If you haven't heard of these guys, you should have, okay? It's quite obvious, it's bingo. But instead of playing with numbers, you play with things that happen in a match. Goals, corners, yellow cards, things like that. Scratch out your lines. The more lines you scratch out, the more money you make, okay? Each game is capped at £2, so don't worry if you are worried about putting a little bit too much money in. This is probably a good game, okay? Because you are actually capped. And you'll be helping a charity as well. 35% of the money they make goes to charity, all right? I personally think that if you are a Chelsea fan, you'll probably get more joy out of playing Match Bingo than you will watching the games itself. But today we did win. You're absolutely right. And here we are. But yeah, click the link in the description, guys, before you watch. Download Match Bingo and let me know what you guys think. Hello everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. My name is Alex. I'm standing outside Stamford Bridge after a 3-2 win against Newcastle. I've got Charlie over here. Nice to meet you, mate. First fan cam.
Yes, it is, mate.
How did you find the game?
I mean, I thought it was rather enjoyable, but I mean, you know what? There's still some sloppy mistakes which should have been avoided. But then again, overall, I mean, you can't argue a result. Like, there's always going to be the odd 1 or 2 mistakes that are going to cost us a goal because that's the way the season's gone so far. But then again, the result speaks for itself. We've got the win, and that's the main thing.
That's the thing. What about the performance?
I mean, yeah, again, it was like, I guess the result speaks for itself. We got the win, like I say, we're a bit sloppy, but the win is what it is. I mean, we're a bit too, like, round the back as well, we're a bit too brave. I mean, that's where they invite the pressure onto ourselves. Like, I guess we got to be a bit more, get the ball out a lot quicker, I would say, to invite less pressure on us, but I guess that's, I mean, I'm not a pro or anything like that. I'm no coach or nothing to the back, but if that's the way they're told to do and it works, just to try and take some pressure off, but I guess they got to do it a bit quicker because at the minute it seems to be they're inviting too much pressure onto ourselves.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. That's just when we go up though, isn't it? I mean, apart from that, I think we play okay. Yeah. There's always going to be chances, but we still push forward as well. Yeah, it's just when we go up. Yeah,
no, exactly. So we push forward, we hit them on the break, but then a lot of the attacks they get is from where we try to play it too safe and then we lose possession in areas that really we shouldn't lose them in.
100%. What about your player of the match today?
Oh, it's got to be, I reckon, Cole Palmer. I mean, he's been solid. I mean, he had that great chance at the start, which everyone thought he scored in the first half, and it turned out to be a magnificent flick on by Nicholas Jackson, and then he was rewarded with his goal in the second half. I mean, you can't really knock that. I mean, he's always, what I love him, he reminds me of very much like Cesc Fabregas,
Fabregas?
Oh mate, the way he runs, because get the ball and his first thought is always drives the ball forward, or that first ball is always that killer pass. Like, if it don't come off, then fair enough, but he's always, his first thought is get the ball, put that ball through in the dangerous areas, or I always liked that killer pass, you know what I mean? What Cesc Fabregas did with that killer pass every time, but it's like, if it didn't work off, no Chelsea fan were like, for fuck's sake, none of that, because they knew what it's intended to do, and not every time it's a hard thing to do, put that ball through to try and kill the game off in that one pass.
That's it, man. Thank you for coming on, my friend.
Nice.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. And I'm just going to continue this one on my own. And, yeah, I mean, I have to say that a lot of the points people have made today, we've had some very good points made. The fact that we're able to score 3 goals, I think that's testament to a lot of our goal scoring throughout the season. You know, we criticise how our lack of clinicalness up front, but we are still getting goals, you know, consistently. You know, there's not many games where you look at Chelsea and you see us not score or only score 1. We tend to actually build a bit of rhythm, which is quite nice. the problem is we just can't hold on to our lead. And this is where you do look at a manager like Mourinho or a manager who's a little bit more experienced in closing out those situations, and you just say to yourself, right, well, if we're going to invite the pressure, that's absolutely fine, but have a little bit more structure to it. If you're going to sit back, sit back. Don't 50% sit back. Don't not have a structure, okay? If Gusto and Cucurella are going to stay, then they stay. If Jackson's tracking back and then lone running for all the balls, that's absolutely fine. But I need to understand that. And I think sometimes with Poch, I do struggle to understand that a little bit, because he seems to give a lot of players flexibility and freedom to move into different positions, especially up front. I think that can hurt us defensively, if I'm being honest with you. But again, Raheem Sterling, very, very disappointing. I think it's obvious that he needs to be sold. Even if we make it at a loss, get his wages off the books, bring in a player who can actually take this team by the scruff of the neck and lead them, because he's not a leader. He's not the man to lead us forward. He's a bottle job. And he bottled it again today when the odds were not against him. Everything was in favour of him, still couldn't score. You know, I don't like Sterling. I haven't got a personal vendetta against him. But how can you appreciate a player like that, who defensively is very lacklustre, not a particularly physical player? I wouldn't even say he outpaces that many people, to be quite honest with you. I don't see him running down the ring like Mudryk, making an impact in that sense. So, yeah, Sterling can go as far as I'm concerned. I spoke to people before the game, you know, and they say, wow, bloody hell, Enzo, Caicedo, they don't have a rest. But Pochettino can't rest them, because Ogachukwu out, Lavia's out. You got to try and play these guys together and build the team around these guys. You haven't got European football. That's probably a good excuse. If we had that extra midweek game, maybe you'd have to rotate a little bit more, but I got no problem starting Enzo and Caicedo every week. I think the hunger's there, the desire's there. We just lack quality at times, but that's a midfield that I think can flourish in the future. Worth over 200 million? Maybe not, but still solid, still decent. Really happy to see Cucurella back in the squad as well on the left-hand side. For me, he starts ahead of Ben Chilwell every single day of the week under Pochettino. Don't get me wrong, last season he was rubbish, but he was also played out of position and he was misused. I don't think he suits being a wing back whatsoever. I don't think he suits being in the back three. Play the guy as a left back, he's solid, right? And one thing I like about Cucurella as well, he doesn't concede stupid fouls. Generally speaking, he's quite intelligent the way he defends, and that's what you want from a modern defender. Gusto, again, fantastic. Cole Palmer, amazing. Really, really happy to see him getting on the score sheet. Obviously got the assist for Jackson's goal as well, who is flourishing towards the end of this season. If we could see anything like what we saw when he finished the season last year with Villarreal, then we are going to have a very, very fun time, because he was really picking up the numbers at that point. Just takes a little bit of time to ease himself into it. And Mudryk as well with a great goal. Nice to see him coming on for Sterling, make the impact. Pochettino, if you don't start Mudryk against Leicester, I really don't know what he has to do to start, because every time you give him half a chance, he takes it. So give him a full chance and let him play out a full 90, because fitness can't be a concern. He's barely getting game time in the first place. What I also want to comment on as well, guys, is the owners. We saw Bowley walk past. He didn't want to comment when I asked him about the game. I asked him if he enjoyed it. He said, yeah. So fair enough. But why is everyone talking about Bowley all the time? Bowley's not the one running the club. It's like Bowley and that other guy. There's another guy that's involved. I can't even remember his name off the top of my head. They earn 60%, right? So the pressure is on them to produce. Bowley's only got a 13% equity. I suppose the only thing you could say is it's his own money. We shouldn't be looking at Bowley for the answers. This guy's not going to give us the answers. Even if he had the answers we want, he doesn't have the power to really influence things and take control. This bloody consortium, that's the thing. You've got so many people sitting around a table and you want to make a decision, but you're split. You'll never make that decision. And I think that's why we come across indecisive at times, because it's not just one person making decisions. I know Bowley has the overriding vote, but there are other people that can influence that. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see how we finish the season off. We still need to you know, we need to inject some experience, quality ready-made experience. I'm reading about Atletico Bilbao, Williams, the younger one. I mean, it's not inspiring at all. Give me a striker. Give me Victor Gyökeres. Give me Osimhen. Try and get Tony. Show us some ambition. Because I will back this team. I am backing this team. But if the ownership don't make some serious moves that makes it clear to the fans what they're looking for, then we are going to think you are taking the piss. And we saw with our new CEO, he doesn't look at fans as fans. He looks at them as customers. Now that's a fucking disgrace. Fucking disgrace. And I tell you what, if we don't pick things up next year, you will not see Alex looking for the positives every week. You'll see Alex saying, what the hell are you doing to my football club? Because this is hardly where we want to be. Don't talk to me about ambition, right? We're still mid-table. We have progressed from last season, so don't think that I don't stand by that statement. I absolutely do. We have progressed. There is no doubt in my mind that we have improved this year under Pochettino compared to last year. We have more stability, we have more togetherness within the team, we have a structure now, right? We don't have Bowley fucking going out and buying all the players. We actually have football people. Whether they're good football people or not, that's another question, because half of them come from Brighton, so we can argue about that as well. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, these owners have some work to do, and if they don't get everything cut out, then you can be assured that Chelsea fans will not settle. Because I'm smiling, I'm very happy with this win in the circumstances for this season. We should be happy about this win because it's still a good Newcastle team, right? But yeah, we need to make some moves in the window. Bring some players back, Poch. If Poch has to work with this again next season, you've lay him out to dry. So yeah, I'm still backing Pochettino. I still think he can do a job for us, but ultimately you have to work with what you have. And right now, in the grand scheme of things, Poch is working with a group of bums. It's true, right? And he is developing them. Modric is better than last season. Jackson's clearly developing, right? There's a clear partnership between Caicedo and Enzo. I think the media have really overhyped how bad Caicedo's been. That's just not true. He's actually been pretty good. Especially when Enzo plays closer to him. Gusto's developed. Cucurella is better under Pochettino than he was last season. There's a centre-back partnership forming with Disasi and Colwell. I think when they're together, that's one for the future. Petrovic is another great keeper that comes in. And yeah, I think you could take more positives in that sense. So I do call bullshit on people that say, you know, certain players aren't developing. They are. The problem is, they weren't that great to start with, so the improvements don't really come across as Chelsea standard. So we need to get our head around that. Bring in some Chelsea standard players from the get-go, and then it will look a bit better, and hopefully the other players will rise up to that level even more so. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, guys. If you agree or disagree with me, let me know. And we will see you at the Leicester game.